Good morning, Americans. It's Friday.
You like movies about gladiators?
Get in my belly! Come on!
Hey, how's it going? You from around here or what?
Yeah, good.
Where you been lately? Hanging out? Oh, awesome. Good shit. Oh, welcome. It's Florida Friday here in the old courtroom. We're going to jump from two different Florida courtrooms today. We're going to start in this one. Both of these videos are from earlier today, so they're brand spanking new.
You say so. Some people in here will tell you it's old.
Well, you know.
First appearances. Who was partying on a Thursday night?
Good morning, everyone. Give me just one second.
Hey. What's up, girl?
Comes off of our screen.
She's in a good mood today.
Well, she's pumped about being there.
And it's Florida Friday for her every day.
Good to see the attorney, public defender, back inside the old cell. He was outside last time we saw him.
That's right.
He was hanging out in the old courtroom.
Good day.
Good day, everybody. Hit the like while we're waiting for this young, beautiful woman to start things up here in Florida. She's waiting for something to go off the screen. I think, look down below her. There's something on the screen. See it?
On Zoom.
Over the top of it?
Go ahead and get started. Good morning. This is Jackson
There it
County
is.
appearances on July the 19th,
Great to see you, Dave.
2024. The time is 8:32 a.m. For those of you at the jail, good morning. My name is Anna Garcia, and I'm the judge assigned to cover first appearances this morning. With you at the jail, you have Mr. John McDaniel. He is an assistant public defender, and he is here to represent each and every one of you today. I appoint him to represent each and every one of you today. You also have representatives from the state attorney's office present with me in the courtroom. Mr. Lawrence Gill.
I assure you, we don't have
state
93
attorney,
mods,
and he is here to
97 mods.
represent the state of Florida for purposes of this proceeding. Jones, can you please confirm for me that all of the inmates have had an opportunity to watch the video regarding their first appearance rights?
It's not the first time somebody's come in and tried to
Yes,
say
Your Honor, they have.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. If I could please see Angela Daniel first.
Mods are usually here first. Angela.
Daniel, good morning.
Morning.
Good point, Todd.
Ms. Daniel,
Whoa.
did you understand, or tell me your full name for the record?
Angela Lachelle Daniel.
All right,
Seen a
give me one
fire?
second. Ms. Daniel, did you understand the rights that were
Yes.
explained to you on the first appearance video?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Daniel, you are being held for allegedly failing to appear in court in Jackson County case number 24 CF 257. You are being held for failing to appear to the arraignment that we had back on June the 4th, 2024. Ms. Daniel, do you understand why you are in custody?
It's stupid fucking YouTube, right? I mean, I watch court video. Why would they show me this? I don't know. Makes a lot of sense. Not today.
Creed's in a good mood today.
Not today, people. Greg said it's about time. He's been around for years.
What took you so long?
Yeah, right. And Casey Carey, I'll give you a ta-da in 3, 2, 1. 6 beautiful months.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Daniel, I'm going to hold you without bond until you come back up before me. We will probably have you on the docket on August the 20th for felony court. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sweet cheeks.
Rebecca Stevens.
She calls their names like they're about to graduate. Rebecca Stevens.
Ms. Stevens, good morning.
Morning.
Ms. Stevens, tell me your full name for the record.
Rebecca Ann Stevens.
Ms. Stevens, did you understand the rights that were explained to you on the first appearance video?
Yes, ma'am.
Give me one second.
It's a truancy case, Your Honor, from yesterday. She
Yes,
missed
I'm
court.
aware. I want to look at some of the history of the truancy case, but yes, I'm aware that it's a truancy case from yesterday.
So she wasn't sending her kid to school, in case somebody's wondering.
Okay. All right.
And you can be locked up and fined pretty heavily if you do not get your badass kid into school.
I'm sorry, Okie. Who let the dogs out?
Oh, okay. Truancy.
It'd be more scary, Marty, if you had a windstorm and nothing was blowing. So it could be worse.
Ms. Stevens, you're being held for failing to appear in my truancy court yesterday morning at 9 a.m. I'm looking up your case to see how your child is doing in school.
Looking up to see how the child's doing, like grade wise or attendance wise.
Probably a little bit of both. Spoiler, she wasn't there yesterday. I got a feeling he's not going.
Good point.
She didn't miss court because she was so busy taking him to school.
Mr. McDaniel, I'd like to ask your client if the child has been participating in the summer program as he should have, and get additional information about how that has gone.
Yes, ma'am. She even went yesterday morning.
How far along is she? What percentage is she done?
That I do not know.
For real. Listen, y'all, we live in a swamp.
Ms.
So it don't
Stevens,
matter.
I'm going to have you come back to court on, I believe, the notes aren't up here
My
yet.
family ain't never been big on book learning, if you know what I mean.
Yet. You know what, Ms. Stevens, I'm going to see you in just a few minutes. I'm going to email my clerk from
We get
yesterday
drunk, take the kids
see
back to
what
the
date
farm.
I have set you to come back. Mr. McDaniel, Ms. Stevens, what I'm going to look at is I recall there was one student that was woefully behind on their summer program. If this is that student, I am not as inclined to let her out immediately on an FTA because I need Ms. Stevens to understand how serious I am when I say that that child attends school every day and continue to progress. So let me email my clerk from yesterday so that I can get the notes from that, and I'll see Ms. Stevens at the end of this first appearance.
Thank you, Your
Go
Honor.
hang out with Steve.
Again, man, truancy is one of those things. Like, if you got a really badass
Give me just 1
kid,
second.
pause it real quick. If you got a really badass kid, can you, I mean, and you're a single mother maybe or something like that, and you can't get them to go, what are you supposed to do? I mean,
there's like resource officers that come out and check on kids that do that. But I mean, you can't just physically drag them out of a house.
you beat their ass. Next thing you know, you're in jail, like she already is.
That's true.
It's like a catch-21. Bad kids are some kids just bad. Sorry. You know.
Hey.
At one point in time. 20 years ago.
Hey now.
Ah. So quiet.
So this judge is typically doing truancy stuff because she said that lady didn't show up in her court yesterday. That's how she knew her.
And that's what she would have. I think that Kitch is right. She would have been there because she missed court, not necessarily because of the truancy thing.
Yeah, right.
Court because of the truancy thing, missed
You
it,
texted her.
arrested.
Thank you so much. All right, if I could see Tara Martin, please.
You're seeing her.
Miss Martin, good morning. Tell me your name for the record.
Well, Tara Lee Martin.
It's a
All right,
lead.
Miss Martin, did you understand the rights that were explained to you on the first appearance video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Miss Martin, you are in custody for allegedly violating the terms of your state probation. It is alleged that you tested positive on a UA and that happened
Whoops.
in May, and the date that we
I
got
don't- Nigel,
the
he was
result back
so
from earlier, the toxicology report back was in June. Ms. Martin, I've issued a no bond warrant on your case. Therefore, you will be held with no bond until you answer to your violation of state probation. However, today, I am going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. I'm going to arraign you on the VOSP and appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Mr. Green will be in touch with you and you will come to court on August 13th. Ms. Martin, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Casey Carey.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Christopher-
I get sloppy seconds. Awesome.
Mr. Chancy, good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Chancy, tell me your full name for the record.
Christopher Jason Chancy.
Mr. Chancy, did you understand the
Huh?
rights that were explained to you on the first appearance video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Chancy, you are being held for allegedly violating the terms of your state probation in Jackson County case number 24 CF 42. It is alleged that you failed to report and absconded by extension. I've signed a no bond warrant in that case. Therefore, you will be held without bond until you answer to your violation of state probation charges, Mr. Chancy. I will arraign you on the VOSP today in order that the office.
I can tell you that every single year, basically, that I was in school, I was in summer school. That much I do know.
I never had to go to summer school, but I sweated it all the way to the last report card. It was
Public
close.
defender represent you in that matter. I anticipate that you will come before me on August the 13th at 9 a.m. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No.
All right, thank you, sir.
Shauna.
Sean S. Ivy.
Or I just picked the right time to put up some comments. I mean, we never know with Griggsy, though. Maybe.
Allegedly.
Yeah, potentially.
Mr. Ivy, good morning. Mr. Ivy, tell me your name for the record.
Son's Angela.
All right, Mr. McDaniel and Mr. Ivy, same question I asked you guys yesterday. Does Mr. Ivy have any objection to the court, to me be presiding over his first appearance because of our prior involvement as me having been a prosecutor at one time on one of Mr. Ivy's cases?
I was just going to say something else.
What, did they dated or effed one time?
Lovers, perhaps.
I'm happy to get another judge, so whatever he prefers.
Your Honor, I think he's asking for another judge.
Oh,
Recuse myself from this matter and we'll get a different judge to preside over this matter. However, because we are recording it and it may be, what would the state and defense say to the recusal judge simply issuing a bond after hearing your arguments if you want to state those for the record?
High honors. No, Marty.
Mr.
No.
McDaniel, how do you feel about that?
I got in
That's
trouble.
fine, Your Honor.
Theater
All right,
band.
and so then that way, Mr. Ivy will get you a bond within
Every
hours.
sport possible.
Whenever there's a recusal judge that comes on board. State defense, if you'll please make your arguments and we'll make that recusal judge aware that the arguments are on the record.
Thank you, Judge. The state would state that we would be asking for a reasonable bond, but note to the court that I believe that based on the probable cause affidavit, Mr. Ivy could be charged by the state with burglary of a dwelling. That's a secondary felony punishable up to 15 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. It also appears that he could be charged with grand theft of a firearm, and that is a third-degree felony punishable up to 5 years in the Department of Corrections. We will concede and just ask for bonds be set as outlined in the probable cause affidavit and that there be no contact with the alleged victim.
And do you have any arguments regarding probable cause for the recusal judge?
Hey.
And it looks that the state would submit that there is probable cause. There's a post-Miranda interview of the defendant admitting to being at the location where the victim stated he had contact with the alleged defendant. And then there is some video surveillance alleged. So we would submit that there is sufficient probable cause for the charges outlined in the probable cause affidavit.
All right, fair enough.
KD9 got it.
Mr. McDaniel, arguments regarding PC or bond?
Your Honor, yeah, we just asked for a bond. I will say that I think there's clearly probable cause for a possible theft. The burglary, if I recall in the complaint, is that he was invited or he went in there. I don't know if it was, I think that might be a little bit more close call, and I'll just let the judge oversee the case, review the complaint, and determine if that is probable cause or not, Your Honor.
All right, fair enough. And so we'll let them know that these arguments are on the record. Mr. Ivy will get a bond to you, hopefully within a couple of hours, okay?
She was part of
All right,
when
thank
she
you,
said
sir.
she was a
She
prosecutor.
was a prosecutor. She probably prosecuted him at some point in time.
on a pretty big case.
She knows him, and anytime you know something like that, you got to put that option out there. We've seen people that know people, like know them personally, and they're like, "Do you have a problem with me being the judge?" And they're like, "No." And
well, we've seen that with Judge Middleton.
he knows everybody, so it's kind of hard to dodge that bullet.
Yeah.
Talking about school, I did have a teacher that I swore up and down hated me. Me and my friends always sat in the back of class so we could cut up and talk and whatnot. And she took me into the hallway one time. She called me out in the hallway because she told me to be quiet like 6 times. I'm like, I'm not talking, but I was. And she took me in the hall, and I can remember her saying to me, she's like, "Don't you ever want to accomplish anything? You're never going to accomplish anything if all you do is talk." Now I sit back and I think, well, you stupid bitch. I'm making money just sitting back talking.
Ms. Stevens, I'm going to ask that the jail give you a notice to appear in court on September the 11th, 2024, 3 p.m. Ms. Stevens, I am going to email the school and Mr. McDaniel on her behalf. That way, I want to know how far along this child is in summer school. If the child is the child that I heard only had 33% completion, Ms. Stevens, I'm not as inclined to let you out the next day. And so I'll call the jail right now. You're held without bond for failing to appear to my court yesterday in truancy court.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
Any questions?
That's not why they hated me, but
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McDaniel, I'm using your PD address. Is that right?
Correct.
Sounds great. Thank you. All right. I believe that takes care of everybody for first appearance. Is that right? September 11th, 3 p.m.
no, it's not. It's
There's nothing further.
7:19.
Good court for today.
That's a terrible time on 9/11 to have a party, but whatever.
These two dudes are talking over what they're going to do later for lunch.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
I find
Have a great weekend. You too.
beardo
Hey.
salad.
The judge shaved off his beard,
Oh, wow.
No?
He looks
but he didn't cut his hair.
very different. You must watch Adam the Woo then. That's what the Woo dog does.
Interesting.
By the way, with the exams, whether I knew it or not,
This is Gary.
I could never test well. I test, and it's not like an anxiety thing, like I'm worried I'm gonna pass or fail. I don't know why. I always was terrible with that. Absolutely terrible with testing when it was time. Even a stupid quiz that didn't mean shit.
Oh, testing I never did too great on it, but I think it's because I wasn't smart. Didn't listen.
Well, I didn't listen to a lot.
Didn't apply myself very well.
Certainly did. I don't know, maybe 5% of the homework I was supposed to, because homework just bothered me.
Oh, I hated
I'm there for that long, and the amount of time just sitting around effing off. Not even literally. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much time within school that was wasted, and not on my own volition. I'm talking about with teachers. Always made me mad. Like, if you can't educate me in that amount of time, why don't you go home and do it?
If you can't teach me, it makes you think I can go home and teach myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Dole's
Good point.
case number 233879. Mr. Dole's was found guilty at a motion. At a probation hearing.
The bad
And
lieutenant.
one of the questions was whether he had a marijuana license. It was found after that, and so we're asking for a rehearing, and mostly we're just asking for mitigation.
So?
I would object to the motion for rehearing, but if the court's prepared to grant that, then I've got a witness here that I'd like the court to hear additional testimony as far as that issue goes.
So this guy had a weed card, but he's also in trouble for grand theft.
Mitigation, because he had the marijuana license.
All right. So drop the drop the grand theft, give him life for being a druggie, right?
Yes, for the weed he had. So he had weed, but he had a license to carry.
It's a mitigation. Go ahead and call your witness.
State Clause investigator, Bill Payne.
Just Jenny. Uh-oh, Mikey, it's Friday. We have a slight Creed frame happening, I see on my screen. Or the little thing up there is telling me that. Anyways,
Well, while that's telling them that, let me tell them this. Yes, I can see the train is slightly off the rails today over here, but it is Friday. And it's also two different trains. Also, as soon as this is over at 2 p.m., you'll be redirected to a Judge Boyd case of a guy that brags about making $6,000 a week selling weed or whatever he was selling. Not sex, drugs, definitely. Did Creed just leave me? Pick the fine time to leave me, Creedy. Yeah, he's gone. He left me. He'll be back in a second. But while we're waiting for him, also happening today at 3 p.m. Eastern over on Creedence and Mikey, catch a great case with Judge Stevens of a guy out on probation, now being accused of paralyzing a guy. Paralyzing him, Creed.
No, that one didn't count. That was preventative maintenance, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
You station in the record.
William Payne,
And where are you employed?
State Attorney's Office.
You are an investigator at my office.
That's correct. I'm the Investigative Division Supervisor for all 6 counties of the 14th Circuit.
And
Humble
part of your
brag.
responsibilities, you are the administrator for our office dealing with the medical marijuana registry.
That is correct.
And can you explain to the court what that medical marijuana registry is?
This is a registry of all licensed medical marijuana patients, caregivers, and prescribers in the state of Florida through the state of Florida and the Florida Department of Health.
Wow.
There's an official database that keeps records related to medical marijuana patients and their statuses.
That is correct.
Were you asked to look at Mr. Dole's status in this particular case?
Yes, I was.
You were able to find Mr. Dole's status in the medical marijuana database?
Yes, I was.
He doesn't currently have a medical marijuana license, is that correct?
That is correct. It is expiring.
That expired in May of this year.
That is correct.
Were you able to look at his history of medical marijuana orders and prescriptions?
Yes, that's one of the capabilities of that program. From May of 2023 through November of 2023, Mr. Dole's had 12, a total of 12 prescriptions issued. They all expired with none of them being canceled or filled by a doctor or a pharmacy.
So in other words, he was prescribed medical marijuana, but never used his medical marijuana license to fill those prescriptions out of dispensary.
That is correct.
Oh, that's okay. That's interesting then. So he's got the weed. He's got weed.
Uh-huh.
He's technically allowed to have weed, but the prescription weed. So he's buying shit off the streets, even though he's got a card.
He had 12 prescriptions for it and never had it filled once.
But yet,
he's got the weed with him.
Right.
So he's like one of those guys like, I'm old school. I just wanted from the guy on the corner. Or maybe he's selling it. I don't know.
I mean, if you got 12, how do you get 12 prescriptions for it, by the way?
Once a month, I'm guessing. Once a month, he would go see the doctor and get a new script for a month's worth of the weed.
Yeah.
Is weed? Oh, let me ask you this: is weed you buy on the street cheaper than the weed you buy at the place?
I'm sure it's got to be, right? I would think at this point it would be, especially in a state where it's legal. I would think.
So he's circumventing all the taxes and all the stuff that the dispensary charges and whatnot, and getting it from the street. But if he gets busted, he's like, "Oh, I got a card. It's all good."
100%
okay.
cheaper on the street, right?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. It seems like that's what everybody's saying.
Yeah, makes sense.
Ms. McCarthy?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's a catch-21.
Mr. Payne's released.
All right, yes, sir. Go about your day.
You didn't buy any weed from the dispensary, you dumbass.
All right, listen though, if you're walking around with a bunch of pot
All right, Mr. McCarthy?
and let's run into something with the law, most, I would imagine, aren't really going to take the time to match things up. You know what I mean? Like
But
figure
because
it
he
out.
was involved in another crime as well.
Right, the grand theft part of it.
Yeah.
Huh. So I wonder, is that a very common thing for people to hold their medical marijuana card, but yet buy it on the street from They Plug? Now that I know what the plug is, because I listen to the hip hop station here in Charlotte. Where they call
The plug FM
over and over again. And I never understood that because in some ways it could sound different.
Zaza is us.
You know, when you put in a plug or you like your plug or wear your plug.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Cole Owen.
He's telling her something.
Anyway,
Is there different prices between the medical and the recreational
that you didn't.
from the legal place? And how about in New York State? They have a bunch of these places that they're calling. Oh, crap. I don't remember what it is. You walk into a store where they supposedly sell something. Sticker stores.
Mm-hmm.
You buy a sticker, but you get some sort of pot with it. But you're buying a sticker.
I know there's a certain kind of weed you can buy in the vape stores here, but it's like grade A or grade C or grade something, you know, it's like pseudo weed. Not, I don't know. It's really weird. There's
You guys
really
know
weird laws to
we don't
circumvent things.
We don't even smoke pot.
No. So we're talking
According to New York State legislation, the Office of Cannabis Management will start to levy
Delta
fines.
8. Yes. Delta
That's
8.
what it is. Is that what they're selling at the sticker shops, the sticker stores in New York then?
Maybe.
I guess. I don't know. So new to all this.
He's telling her something, boy. He is laying down a
Yeah, he
story.
is.
Your Honor, could I call Mr. Dole's?
She's like, I'm not telling him that shit. You can tell him.
Oh, whatever, Mystic Lady. Next, you're gonna say that a skunk smells like shit. Also, you're crazy. Who doesn't love the smell of a skunk?
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Gary Dole.
And Mr. Dole's, you had a marijuana license, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you ever fill any of your marijuana prescriptions?
Yes, I did.
Where did you fill them?
Down there by the old McDonald's, right down the street from it. Not at the old bus station. I don't go there.
Yeah, not now. Listen, the McDonald's that had the really big old play set still sitting there, you know, the indoor one with lots of slides, and my fat ass can't fit through the tunnels, you know that.
The old McDonald's
It's right
that they
next to that.
shut down because that boy got shot in the drive-thru. You know which one I'm talking about.
Oh, gee, Sean White, thank you for the 5 phones. Happy Friday to you as well.
I
Good
went
to
to
see
the
you.
other one that is down by the old McDonald's that closed down.
Okay,
Old
thank you.
McDonald had
And
a
that's
cloud
all,
hike.
Your Honor.
Mr. Sullivan, any questions? All right. Argument, Ms. McCarthy?
Your Honor, we would just argue that he had a marijuana license and he used it. And he should not have been detained the day that he was detained.
I had
Your Honor, whether he had a medical marijuana license or not doesn't change the fact that he committed a traffic violation and that led to the probable cause for the search.
Yeah,
Presenting
she wants me.
the testimony from investigator Payne that the official Florida records reflect that Mr. Dole's never used his license to
fill an official prescription, and that's corroborated by the original officer's testimony at the hearing in the form that the marijuana was found. It wasn't found in the official dispensary containers, which is where it's required by law to be in. So you've got a credibility determination to make, and I don't believe Mr. Dole's testimony credible in light of all the evidence in this case.
I'm deny the motion for rehearing, and I'm deny the motion to mitigate the sentence. Okay.
Nothing.
Yes,
All right,
It's keeping it to itself now.
all right, Mr. Doles, have a seat, sir. He can be returned to DOC.
Oh, didn't work out too well for him, but it was a good try. Good try.
Matthew King.
The king is here. And it's not Edward. So, king named Matthew.
Dr. Schuler spent some time with Mr. King yesterday, so I don't have a report yet, but I think it's forthcoming. I didn't see him because she had told me she was going to be seeing him that day, but I think she told him that I would see him here in court. Although I won't be here, if we could set it on the next motion day, I do have somebody covering, and I do want to, once I get that,
The old bridge
go
by
visit
the old
Mr.
canal.
King, and update him on what I found out about Holmes County and everything else.
August 23rd at 9 o'clock for competency
The
hearing.
hell did Holmes County do to you?
Well, good luck with that competency.
Judge, on your afternoon dock, there's Marcus Stewart.
Martha Stewart?
And you comment too much. Go watch videos yourself that aren't
Good-
live. And I was
Good
talking.
to see you.
Judge, we're
See you there.
scheduled
Bye.
for trial on July 29th. I filed a motion to continue, which I know Mr. Stewart.
Hell yeah, Katie. And they were great. And they've taken all the magic away from McDonald's a long time ago when they turned over to this new all the new aesthetic that fancy popular. Think about the playgrounds that used to be around, the big metal playgrounds, the giant. I mean, those were great.
All right, so you had a birthday party at McDonald's, right?
I'm sure I've been to many growing up.
Was there ever a clown there?
No, I don't know. I don't remember that. I have a terrible memory.
All right, so
Yeah.
I found some pictures of mine when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and they had one of like the teenage girls that worked there
Dress up.
put clown makeup on her face and come out there, and it was like, ooh, that's it. That was it.
That'd be a little
Oh, we
scary.
got
Why do we not have at least like a shit costume of Ronald
Yes.
McDonald?
Nothing.
No, but I do remember the foil ashtrays, and I also remember, I've said this a million times, that they were the best seats. They were the hollowed out plastic seats, and if you farted on those just right, holy shit! I mean, it was the
The
loudest.
acoustics were amazing.
Oh, they were. I mean, it was like you were putting on a concert with your ass.
Doesn't want, and I didn't want to do it. He understands the circumstances, but I don't know if he wants to be heard. He has, there was one transcript that should be in jail mail to him in the next couple of days. And he wanted to release some records to me, and an investigator should come and get him to sign that release next week also.
Okay. Mr. Stewart, do you want to be heard, or?
I had requested something with Mr. Meredith when we spoke.
And I was going to address because this is the first continuance solely on me.
I missed the chicken
The state
fetus.
has had their opportunities and continued it in the past. None of these are based on Mr. Stewart.
Right down the road from
So he
Hulk's
had asked
7-Eleven.
if I could renew a motion for pretrial release that I made some time ago. I'm not sure what date it was.
Did you guys go and get pizza that they make for you at that McDonald's? World's largest McDonald's in Orlando, by the way. We're talking about pizza shop inside there, which doesn't look. It doesn't look bad.
there.
It doesn't look bad. We drove through the parking lot. It was very, very busy, so we didn't go in. That was when we left Hulk's place, though. We did stop there and perused through those doors. It used to be an old 7-Eleven.
I'll let you make that renewable. Mr. Stewart, based on the nature of the charges, I'm not prepared to do that. Okay, just based on the charges themselves.
I think ours had
At
two.
this time, there's been no,
I understand, sir, but I have to consider in some cases when you consider bond or pretrial release, the court has to consider the nature of the charges and what you're charged with, other than committing first-degree murder, is about as serious as it gets. And you're not.
Are we just finding out, or did I just talk over the fact that he's in for murder, first-degree murder, allegedly?
been no forthcoming proof of evidence of.
I don't have
cause.
to. What I'm looking at is what you're charged with and what you're going to trial with. So I understand. I know it's not your fault. The trials have been continued, but I'm not prepared to release you. We need to set a trial, and I'm going to deny that motion. We need to set another trial date.
I'll be ready this September 3rd. I know that's a short date, but I was going to do a homicide and Mr. Stewart the week of the
So you think we
29th.
could move it around, do it September 3rd?
I can attempt to, Your Honor. Mr. Stewart's one of the oldest in custody cases. He's one of my higher priorities.
Let's set it for September 3rd and make it, and see if we can make that a priority for that week. Okay? That'll conclude today's hearing.
The investigator be.
Damn. Sorry to see Big Van Vader in so much trouble with the law these days.
Was that a wrestler?
Demetria Robinson.
That's for like the three people that know wrestling.
It's hard to ask. I never heard
Your
of
Honor,
it.
this is Demetria Robinson, case number 232769.
I know that it was, but listen, they've got Orange High C there, and it is nowhere near what that used to be. That used to
they've
be
got
something so different.
They've got Hawaiian Punch too, and I was so excited and ordered some.
Yeah.
Oh, absolute garbage.
Oh, really?
It didn't even taste like Hawaiian Punch.
We actually have Hawaiian Punch at the gas station down the road. I've gotten it a few times just because I was like a child.
It was not good.
Listen, if you don't have to take that one, the triangle metal thing,
you
and
gotta
pop
take-
the can.
And then you gotta go to the other side and cut a little slit.
Well, right, because so it comes out.
And you gotta pry it up with a little butter knife.
How many times?
Hey, come on, you got this.
The court had set her for today.
You thought getting straws into a one of them
Capri Sun, just go
Capri
right out the
Suns
back.
worked off? Let me tell you, try using a butter knife on one of those old high C or what else did they used to make? High C, of course, Hawaiian Punch, lots of juicy juice that has zero juice.
To make sure that there was a ruling on her motion to stand your ground, and the court has ruled on that.
Okay.
Stand her ground.
Hospital, and she needs to leave as soon as possible.
Do it, girl.
We'll set it for
Thank you, Brenda.
October 15th at 1:30.
Thank you. You call me.
What, they going out later? She just told her to call her.
Willie Goldsmith.
Call me bitch.
Willie Gold.
Willie?
Your Honor, this is Willie Goldsmith, case number 241212.
They were fun to blow up and then stomp on them.
In Mr. Goldsmith's case, we had a bond hearing last month. One of the things that he's on bond, that he has a bond for, is fentanyl. When the FDLE report came back, it came back with just methamphetamine, no fentanyl. But I didn't have the report last month, but I do have it now. I filed it in the court file, and I also have a hard copy if the court would like.
All right. Yeah, I just looked at, reviewed the FDLE report.
Your Honor, we addressed this last time at the bond hearing. So the FDLE report that Ms. McCarthy attached was only one of the two FDLE reports that we received in this case. We've received another FDLE report the FDLE report that Ms. McCarthy attached includes agency exhibits 6 and 10. And those are the two exhibits that came back as methamphetamine. There's another FDLE report that includes agency exhibit 13. That exhibit came back as cocaine. What we addressed last time in court was that there are additional items of evidence that were sent to FDLE for testing. Those exhibit items were agencies 5, 7, and 8. Those were all suspected fentanyl. I have not gotten that FDLE report back at this time. I made that argument last time that we were in court. The court.
Are they trying to show like that the testing was off or wrong, or was there different things?
Because I mean, I understand she was saying that he had been charged with fentanyl, and then they had tested it, and it was just meth, no fentanyl.
Right.
Are we trying to? I mean, I know it takes a long time for lab reports to come back. That's something you sit around waiting for. So,
is there a big difference between if it were meth, cocaine, or fetty?
I'm sure the charges are vastly different between.
Fetty's probably top notch, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be like top.
The biggest.
I would think coke was way down the line.
Yeah, everybody just coke, right?
Made its ruling. I'm asking the court to stand by that ruling, and if we get those results and they're not fentanyl, then we can readdress it. But until I get those results, I think it's premature to base the decision off of an item that was sent to the FDLE test.
I had a pogo ball, by the way. That's the one that looks like a Saturn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the ball, and then you got the outer rim, and it would jump. You'd put it jump, right?
Never had one.
I mean, but not the full fentanyl exhibits that were sent.
Ms. McCord?
Your Honor, I apologize. I didn't realize that was the ruling. I thought that it was just that we didn't have the FDLE report. I understand what Mr. Sullivan is saying.
If you don't have if it's still pending.
I guess it is. I didn't realize that.
All right, so I'll stand by that ruling. We'll set him for just set it for a pretrial. We won't set him for a pretrial.
Your Honor, he also, on his other case, 1216, his victim is here. She wants to have contact with him. Her name is Miss Butler.
What happened to our dude here that's been there the whole? Oh, there he is.
I don't know, but he is in love with touching his hair. He's done some rubbing on his hair, digging in his ear.
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'll grant that motion.
Thank you.
Only peaceful contact.
Thank you.
Where's she at?
Miss Butler?
Where's
You
she at?
understand that, ma'am? Okay. Okay. And we'll say for August 22nd
Yes, sir.
at 9 o'clock.
Thank you.
Where's she at? Peaceful contact, please. Thank you.
Oh, clackers were awesome.
Lazarius Franklin?
I had some of the glass ball clackers.
I had the ones that would spark when they hit.
Yes, I had some of those. Those were awesome. Yes, holy shit. That's
This is Lazarius Franklin, case number 215007. Dr. Salinas has met with him, but he has not filled out a report yet.
All right, August 23rd at 9 o'clock.
Another potential crazy.
Thank you.
I eat that almost every day, Mr. Glady. Without the rice, though. I've never
No rice.
Salinas.
Like mine, slightly crispy with ketchup, salt, and pepper.
He'll be.
I put fried egg in mine, usually. Lots of red hot or Texas pig.
Oh, if I got it, yeah, that too. If on hand.
He also wants a Nelson hearing, Your Honor, but I think we have to
I
wait.
can't have a Nelson here until I can find you're competent or incompetent.
What's a Nelson hearing?
Sir?
I don't know.
Mental health.
I'll see you August 23rd.
Is that a
at 9
mental
o'clock,
health
sir.
thing, maybe?
I don't know. Yes, ketchup, Bruno, ketchup.
I actually think that it'd be good over rice.
I'll let him.
I actually think rice mixed in with corned beef hash actually would be pretty good.
I've mixed mine with grits.
Here, this is Michael
And
Evans
cheese.
Davis. We had a Michael I think
Wally?
Ryan Davis
Oh.
earlier with Mr. Scott. So I want to make sure this is going down as right.
Real quick, a Nelson hearing in Florida is a specific type of court proceeding that occurs when a criminal defendant seeks to discharge their attorney on the grounds of ineffective assistance of counsel. The hearing is named after Florida Supreme Court case Nelson versus State. So there you go.
More you know.
We're learning here. Educational channel. Talk too much. Shut up.
All right, Mr. Davis. I told him he definitely didn't want the other Mr. Davis's charges. This is case number 24-1989. He's going to be entering a plea of no contest to count 1, possession of methamphetamine, count 2, petty theft, and count 3, trespass. Those are both second-degree misdemeanors. You'll receive time served on those.
Terrible channel.
I think he has about 20 days in since that's time.
K9, thank you.
Court costs and fines will be in the amount of $1,078. Restitution will be reserved to Michelle Klinga. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name.
Nice try. You nailed it.
Do 100 hours community service work, $20 a month cost supervision, drug and alcohol evaluation, any recommended treatment, 0 tolerance for the use of controlled substances. Department of Motor Vehicles may apply additional penalties, DNA sample for any seized items, mental health evaluation, any recommended treatment, and no contact with any of the victims.
Raise your right hand, please. Always swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, Mr. Davis, you can lower your hand and state your name.
Tell us about how big your nose
Davis,
is.
you heard the announcement of Ms. Jewell, is that correct?
Sir, yes, sir.
Is that your understanding of the agreement with the state?
Sir, yes, sir.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what your attorney just announced in open court?
Sir, no, sir.
I've been handed a plea waiver and consent form. There's a front and the back, the signature of the defendant line. Is that yours?
Sir, yes, sir.
Have you had an opportunity to read that agreement?
Sir, yes, sir.
Have you had an opportunity to go over your case with Ms. Jewell?
Sir, yes, sir.
Have you had sufficient time to speak with Ms. Jewell about your case?
Sir, yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's advice and counsel?
Sir, yes, sir.
You understand that being in the plea, you're waiving your right to go to trial?
Sir, yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to require the state prove the allegations against you?
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to have your attorney cross-examine the state's witnesses and contest their evidence.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you waving like you just
You're
don't
waiving your
care?
right to present any defenses that you might have to the allegations.
Yes, sir.
Did
You're
you,
waiving
sir,
your right to
take out the
subpoena your own
dogs?
witnesses to come to court and testify on your behalf.
Sir, yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to testify to remain
Do
silent.
you think that
until
Griggsy's
your
hot
decision
by
is
any
made.
chance?
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to appeal anything but an illegal sentence.
Yes, sir.
You're doing this for your own free will.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Davis, do you feel the pleas in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
You understand if you're not a citizen of the United States, you may be subjecting yourself to deportation proceedings by entering the plea?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to accept the stipulation. I'll find there's a prima facie case, and we'll find that Mr. Davis's plea was freely and voluntarily made after consultation with his attorney. I'm going to accept it. He's adjudicated guilty of count 1, possession of methamphetamine, count 2, petty theft, second-degree misdemeanor, and trespass, second-degree misdemeanor. On count 1, he's placed on a term of probation not to exceed 24 months. He's ordered to pay fines and costs of $1,078. As far as restitution, I'm going to reserve, and that is to Michelle Aguakina, I'm assuming that's for the petty theft. He's complete 100 hours of community service work at a minimum of 8 hours a month through the Bay County Work Program. I'll give the Florida Department of Corrections the discretion to amend that at the direction of a probation officer. His cost of supervision will be $20 a month. Within the next 30 days, he must undergo a drug and alcohol evaluation, follow all recommended counseling, 0 tolerance for use of any controlled substances.
Yes,
not
every
prescribed
7
by a
days.
treating physician. Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles may apply additional penalties. Within the next 30 days, he must undergo a mental health evaluation, follow all recommended counseling, 0 tolerance for use of any, and just follow the recommendations. He's required to give a DNA sample. He must submit one. He'll forfeit all seized items. On the
Joey, that's a big one. 10 to the main channel where we have, of course, our Friday get together, our big hangout of the week to end it all. For the week, that is, not end it.
I'm not going to, off ourselves. Real quick, though, thank you to Joey Bag of Donuts, because now Mistaken Reaper, Tony McPaw, Carrie Davis, Donna B, Michael Dunlap, Bob let his run out, Arto, let's see, Grandma, and Sammy and Sallyport will all be joining us tonight because of your generosity.
Hell yeah.
Make sure you
awesome.
thank that man.
That is great. Also, I do want to say, KD9, because we're not going to be here Sunday. So we want to say happy birthday now. KD9. no.
Petty theft and trespass, he's sentenced to 20 days in the Bay County Jail, given credit for 20 days. Those sentences will run concurrent and also concurrent with count one. Mr. Davis, you have 30 days to file your notice of appeal. If you wish to appeal your judgment sentence, if you'd like to have an attorney to represent you, you can afford one. One may be appointed to represent you at no charge. Good luck to you, sir. You can step over.
Where was going to step over?
Yeah, we had kept him on the docket, thinking we might be able to
Step
reach a
over.
resolution. We have not yet. If we can have the August pretrial.
What's his name?
Warnack, W-A-R.
The Great Karnak?
I'm right here. All right. You want August?
Yes, please.
August 22nd at 9 o'clock.
And we are in hopes that we'll be able to place him on a WOW docket.
Very good.
Rogers?
Ah, Finn.
Finny, but it is not the end of the amount of Florida action you're going to see today, because at 4 or 5, it's Florida Friday on We Gotta Chase. By the way, I have heard all of you ladies saying, you know what? Too many wild women, Mikey. We want some maniac men. So don't you worry about it. You're going to get all the man you can handle today on Florida Friday. That's right. Florida Man in full effect. Just for you, ladies, and the guys that like checking out dudes. That's fine too. In just about 7 minutes, there'll be a premiere happening over on We Got a Case. You'll all be redirected to. Make sure you kick back and enjoy that as Judge Boyd deals with a very animated wannabe thug that says he made $6,000 a week.
A week?
Slinging that rock.
Well, we're in the wrong business. The Badass Kid Express. Griggsy, thank you. You're number one. KC, OG Sean White, Bruno, KD9. Happy birthday someday. Joey the Big Old Bag of Donuts. Huge gifter. 10 new ones to the main channel. I love that. 10 new
Perfect
ones.
10.
And Ani Kabuse. Talk about Bruno. All the wild wormans. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it a ton. And that's always fun. Florida Friday.
Yeah, and for everybody that's over on Creedence, Mikey, you got a premiere happening at 3 p.m. Eastern of a guy that has put a man in a wheelchair for life.
Oh,
don't miss this intriguing story. Did our system fail us? Was this avoidable? Maybe it was avoidable. Who knows? All I know is I believe in Joe Henry. Do me a favor. Stay safe, stay hard, stay tuned. We'll see you on that. I believe in Joe Henry.